On Melbourne's Positive Alternative 89.9 Light FM, you're in conversation with Clayton, and joining me in the studio is Cameron Miller. He is the author of the book An Awesome Ride Through a Father's Eyes, and he's the father of Sean Miller. We're going to be talking a lot about Sean today. G'day, Cameron.
G'day, how are you, mate?
Look, I'm great, and it's wonderful to have you in here. Also, you've started up the Sean Miller Foundation too. We're going to be spending a lot of time around your story today, and it's intricately linked with your son, Sean. We're going to start by playing a video in just a couple of moments' time. Could you just give us a bit of a setup of this video, because it's something that's gone viral around the world, but so much depth. It's not just a silly cat video. This is about actually changing lives.
Yeah, look, it's an incredible video. I remember when Sean got told he was going to pass away. Sean was born with what's called childhood congenital heart disease, and had 1,000 operations, 2 heart transplants. And when the doctors told him that he had chronic heart rejection and they could no longer do anything more him, he kept saying to me on the way home, "Dad, I've got to do this video." I'm like, what are you talking about, Sean? What are you talking about? He goes, no, I've got to do this video. I've got to do this video to say goodbye to my friends and family. Anyway, he ended up doing this video called My Final Goodbye in his bedroom one night, and unbeknownst to me, uploaded it to Facebook and YouTube, and it went viral over the world, and it's been seen by over 7 million people, played on the Dr. Phil show, and it just went absolutely crazy, the amount of people that saw My Final Goodbye on YouTube by Sean Miller.
Yeah. So 17, it was uploaded just a few weeks before he did actually pass.
Correct.
So what we're going to do, it's about 3 minutes long, and I don't think we've ever done this actually on this show before, but we're going to play the whole video to you now. And we're going to sit and listen with that, and then we'll talk as we come back. Here's My Final Goodbye from Sean Miller.
Hi guys. I have some bad news I want to tell you all. I have chronic heart rejection, and I won't be here for as long as I thought. But I want to say, this has been an awesome ride, and I have no regrets. Live life to the fullest, because you never know what's going to happen. I just want to thank all my family and friends who have been in my life. Please don't cry for me. I will be okay. I do ask all my friends to make sure my dad will be okay. I will miss you guys so much. I love you all. I know this is bad news, but good news came as well. I now have a girlfriend now called Maddie, and I'm so happy. At the moment, nothing can bring me down. I hope I left footprints in all of your hearts, because I'm going to miss you all, and I love you dearly. Bye. Love from Sean. See ya.
It's a remarkable video.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is. I sort of kept going from listening to looking at you.
That's okay.
And you know, as we talked about before we came on air, just wanted to check that you're okay to hear
Yes,
that.
I'm fine. Yes, I'm fine.
But it's the power of Sean
Yeah.
has not only come through that video and inspired so many people, but it has kept inspiring people.
It has.
As people go through as well. Could you talk now a little bit about what led to him being that boy that would actually think of making sure, hey, I want to look after my dad. I want to make sure that people are, I've left footprints on your heart that keep looking forward. That sort of a message. Could you tell us a bit about him as he grew up and who he was?
Yeah. Sean sort of was sort of had a lot of depression when he was young, and then all of a sudden, when he was 8 years old, we were coming into the children's hospital, and basically he said, "Look, Dad, I don't feel too well," and he threw up blood everywhere, and I rushed him upstairs, and they said he was going into major heart failure, and they said he only had 48 hours to live, and they said, "Look, they only did 6 heart transplants that year, so it takes years and years sometimes to get a transplant." I'm thinking, what we're going to do? Anyway, I come to the 48 hour, and Sean was getting worse, and all his organs were shutting down, and all this sort of stuff. And I went outside in the pouring rain, while Sean was upstairs, and I got on my knees and my hands and knees, and I screamed to the sky, and I said, if there's a God out there, please help my son. I walked back into the room, and Sean was laying down, and he had his hands over his eyes, and he was talking to something, and I was trying to listen. I couldn't hear what he was saying. He was talking to something, and his eyes were just transfixed on the roof, and he had his hands over his eyes. And after about 15 minutes, he said, Dad, I'm going to get a new heart. And I said, Sean, what are you talking about? He goes, I went for a white light, and an old man told me to stop, and I've got work to do, and go away and be positive. Then 5 minutes later, the doctor come out and said, we've got a new heart for your son.
I mean, that moment must have been spine tingling to the nth degree.
And he, and not only that, they had to prep him for surgery, 2 hours prep for surgery. He went on the gurney and was waving like he was waving to the Queen, being positive. Like, I'll see you soon. Got 15-hour operation. I'll see you soon, guys. I'll see you soon. It's all good. I'll be fine. And from 8 years old, then he became very, very, very positive after that. And then he needed a second heart. Then he had what's called chronic heart rejection. He had to have another heart transplant. 13 years old, and he was very positive during then. And I remember, we when he got his second heart transplant, and we ended up doing 1,000 steps at Dandenong. And he flew up that like a jet engine. And I'm like, 30 degrees. I'm like, I'm just about dying. And he's like, what's your excuse? You got no heart problems. So he's always a joker as well.
Yep.
And then we reached, a woman called Sondra from Alabama reached out to Sean at 13 years old. She reached out to me first and said, my son had just passed away from heart problems. And I said, look, I'm not equipped to deal with this. I'm going to hand you over to the boss, because I always called Sean the boss, right? And so I handed Sean over to her, and Sean spoke to this woman for 6 months, a woman from all over overseas, and he helped her. He come home from school and he helped her, and Sean had gone through 1,000 operations, 2 heart transplants. Here he is helping a grown woman from Alabama, and to this day she goes, he was my angel and he stopped me suiciding.
Just incredible.
At 13 years old.
Yeah.
And then he was also the motivation for the Garth Wood fight between Mundine. He helped motivate Garth Wood beat Mundine. He was always a positive influence. He became a Heart Kids ambassador at 15 years old.
He's very proud of that too.
Yeah. Public speaker. And his message was always about living life to the fullest, because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. As he said in his video.
Yeah, that's right. Now, you've said a couple of times, and I think it's one of those ones that we can just go over a bit quickly, like 1,000 operations.
Yeah.
Like that. This is not just a made up number to make you exaggerate.
Unfortunately, no.
I mean, that's
yeah. And he was a strong boy.
Yeah,
he
clearly.
was He was mentally and physically strong.
Yeah.
He just was, and I believe, and he got offered a mechanical heart from Texas. After he did the My Final Goodbye, Texas contacted us, and he turned around to me, and he said, "Dad, you know what? I've had a great life. I know where I'm going. Give it to someone worthy." So he refused. He refused the mechanical heart, and I believe that. Now I believe that he was meant to die at 17, so he could change the world, because, and that's what he's done. As he said, in the footprints he's left in the hearts of people, incredible.
Yeah.
The footprints he's left all over the world is just amazing, amazing.
Quite a phenomenal statement. What you just said, a father to say he was meant to die at 17, and sort of the implication, if I'm understanding, is that if he was 18 or 19, an adult, sort of, it might not have carried this same impact. But still, my sense is it's taken an awful lot of processing to get to a stage where you could even say a statement like that. The sense, though, of his impact, and I suppose I want to come back in a couple of minutes' time and talk about you and how you've coped since then. But if we just stay on the impact of Sean, this video has now been seen around the world.
It has, yeah.
What are some of the reactions that you've had from people? And I suppose especially what it's done in people's lives because of it.
As I said, it's been seen by over 7 million people, and the messages have been incredible. I've had messages from people like, "I'm going to quit smoking now," to "I'm going to start living life to the fullest." I had a girl contact me that was 13 years old, and she contacted me and she told me that she was cutting her wrists every day from Florida. I'm like, "Woof." And all I could say was, go away and watch some of Sean's videos and read his stories. She come back to me about 5 weeks later, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Miller," and I said, "Oh, that's actually my dad's name, but that's all right." Mr. Miller. But anyway, she called me Cameron. Yeah. She goes, "Oh, Cameron," she goes, "I just want to let you know, I've watched Sean's video, My Final Goodbye, and I've told my parents what I was doing, and I'm not cutting my wrists anymore, and I want to live my life. And I'm going to be a happy girl now. I'm going to go on and live my life like Sean." And these are the sort of messages I got. They see Sean's video, My Final Goodbye, and they get very impacted. They think he's gone through what he's gone through, and if he can go through what he's going through, I'm going to stand up, and live life.
Yeah, you said that there's 20,000 messages that you still haven't even got to.
I haven't. I know.
It's a full-time job and a half.
It is. We're going to have to hire a team in the foundation to. I know people are saying, why haven't you got back? But it's 20,000 messages on YouTube, and that's a lot of messages. Yeah. And they're coming in every day as well, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And I try to answer as many people as I can.
Yes.
But I'm only one person.
Exactly. Spot on right. We're going to be back with Cameron Miller in just a couple of minutes' time. You now know, as we heard that video, why the book is called An Awesome Ride. Through a Father's Eyes. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes' time to talk a bit of Cameron's journey and the setting up of this foundation as well. On the way next here on Light FM.
In conversation with Clayton.
On 89.9 Light FM, you're in conversation with Clayton and Cameron Miller. He's the author of the book, An Awesome Ride Through a Father's Eyes. And we've been chatting to him about his son, Sean Miller. We've been heard the video. In fact, we played it just before My Final Goodbye. At the age of 17, sadly passed away due to the complications he'd had with his heart for a long, long time. Over 1,000 surgeries, 2 different heart transplants as well. And just so inspirational in his positive outlook on life. For so many, and it's been an inspiration, as we said. Still 20,000 messages to get through over the last few years. You're still trying to catch up to get back to them. Cameron, I want to ask a couple of questions, and I want to finish on the Sean Miller Foundation.
Yes.
We'll get to there in a second. But
okay.
First of all, for you, I've shared on this program, I lost my mum last year, and the grief that I'm going through feels like it's the deepest grief ever. I can't possibly imagine what it would be like to lose a child, and how to still keep going. I just can't. If I lost one of my kids, I can't fathom how I would do that. How did you? And was it something that you just went, well, I'm just going to push through? I don't think that's possible. So how did you do it?
With myself is, with the situation is, I wasn't prepared for what was going to happen after Sean passed away. when the news came out that he passed away, it was on every news channel around Australia, every news channel around the world. It just his passing went viral as well, and to prepare to bury your son, that was incredibly tough. We had 2,000 people at his funeral. It still seems like a bit of a blur, and they wanted to televise his funeral, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. It was just too. I didn't know how I was going to handle it. I'm quite surprised how I handled it on the day I got up and spoke, and but to walk out with his coffin and see the media and see the sea of people was just incredible, and the love, and I could feel the love, and it was just incredible that day. And then about a week after, we had to get his book ready called An Awesome Ride and for publishing, and I threw myself into that. But then when all that was finished and all done, on the 27th of December, I started to slowly break down probably about a month after Sean passed away. And I know this is going to be raw, and people that probably don't want to hear this, but and it's in my book. During that 6 months, I physically tried to commit suicide myself, and nothing was working. And I'm thinking to myself, why isn't this? What's the reason? Like, I'm thinking, because he passed away in my arms as well. That was tough, and I'm thinking, why can't I do this? I'm thinking I must be here for a reason. And I got my lowest point was I had like a physical breakdown, and I ended up in hospital over it. And but it took me probably took me a good 2 years in myself. I ended up going to Thailand, and I sat with the monks in Thailand in 2013, which was a powerful experience. And they didn't even know my story, and they held my hand. And one of the monks said to me, "We know that your son died, but he died quickly, and he's in a good place."
We talked a bit about that moment where you cried out for God.
Yeah.
Is there a God part of that journey for you? How do you think about God, I suppose?
Look, I believe that Sean, he speaks about it is his epiphany, and I believe that that person was God that Sean saw. Like my family's a Christian, but we were never pretty full on. But when all this happened, it made my belief a lot stronger, because Sean saw this person, and I believe that Sean was meant to be on this earth for a reason, to bring this message of love, because that's what he was all about. It was about love.
Yeah.
He was this message of love to the world.
Yeah. As we go forward for you in life, there's clearly a part of your world where you've gone from saying, "Look, I feel so bad that I want to commit suicide myself," to holding a bit of Sean's attitude yourself. Like, it's clearly in you as we talk about it. Like, obviously your father and son, but there's that's a part that I see in both, right?
Yeah.
So as you then step into that's a new way for you. It seems like you are very choosing positivity in quite an incredible way now too. Tell us about how the book, and I suppose the foundation too, came to be, and the reasons around what you're trying to do with that. I even love the slogan of the foundation. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Which, by the way, we help mend broken hearts.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, let me go with the book first. As I said, Sean wrote a book called An Awesome Ride, which became a New York award-winning book, and people already loved his book. And I met a co-writer called Andrew Clark, and he said, "Oh, look, I think you've got a story here, Cameron." I'm like, I don't really want to put my story out there. It's too personal to me. And Penguin came back and said, "We'd like you to write your story." And I'm thinking, I'm not sure. It's a very personal story, and and then I started to think about other people. I sat down one night, and because I was a single father as well, and I started to say to myself, I I put myself in other people's shoes that lost parents, lost a child, and because Sean was born with what's called childhood congenital heart disease, one of the biggest killer of kids around the world, and I thought the amount of parents that are suffering, if I can help one parent or someone, just one person, with my words in my book, then I think I've done my job. And I think and a lot of people, when I put it out there on social media that I was going to write my book, a lot of people said that your story is a gift. One person from America said, your story is a gift to the world, Cameron. You need to share it. Like Sean shared his gift. And that's the reason I end up writing the book.
Yeah, fantastic. The same concept around the foundation?
Yeah, but the foundation, I never even thought about. Personally, I was just going to go on and not be a public person, and because Sean brought me into this life, this public persona now, and how the foundation started is I was working about what I was going to do with my life, and I went to go do a real estate course. I didn't like that. I think I'm too honest. I don't know, but I didn't want to do it. I completed it, and then one night I went to sleep, had a dream, and Sean came to me. And he comes to my dreams a lot. He came to me just recently, 2 months ago as well. Comes to me on my dreams a lot to give me visions and tells me what to do. And he said to me, Dad, I'd like you to start a foundation in my name. That's all he said. And I woke up, I'm thinking, I wouldn't have a clue about starting a foundation. I'm thinking, I looked, and I made a few calls, and I thought, you know what? For some reason, he wants me to start this foundation, so I need to do it. So I started making calls and started gathering the right people, and I first person I contacted was my chairman, Alan Finney. Alan Finney's also the chairman of the AFI Academy Awards, Film Australia, and I dabbled in the film industry when I was young, and I met him when I was 25, and he came out of retirement to do this for me, and we started to gather the right people around. It took us 3 years to put together in conception, and we launched the foundation on the AFL football show with Sam Newman and Joe Watson, and it's just, yeah, but I haven't been proactive that much in the foundation because I've been writing the book. But the foundation's goal is to bring awareness to CHD around the world, and our plan as of last week, we're going to build houses, short-term houses, for parents who've lost children. They can come in, because I believe that with grief, if you can grab a parent that's lost a child in those first 3 weeks and grab them and look after them, then they're on their way to heal.
Yeah.
And that's what our goal is going to be. We're going to build houses all around the world. I know it's a big statement.
Yeah.
We're going to build houses. We're going to start with Australia first, but we're going to build houses all around the world for short-term stay for parents who have lost children with grief.
Yeah.
Whether it's suicide, disease, whatever
Great.
disease. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, as we said, I mean, the grief and the stress and strain of losing a child is, there is nothing greater.
No.
And so, what an incredible aim of what you've got as you go through. Just briefly, it looks like this is going to be made into a film as well.
Yeah. Look, we're going to make Sean's book into and my book into a movie. The first movie will be a family movie, and then we're doing a 10-part series for Netflix, and we've got the producer from Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet, and the producer from My Sister's Keeper, which is incredible.
It's remarkable.
And all the money will go to the foundation for future houses.
Excellent. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Look, Cameron, we just wish you all the best as you go forward. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, obviously, for the way you raised Sean as well, because as much as he influenced you, clearly you've influenced him, and that story continues. So thank you for sharing your time today.
Thank you, Clayton. Thank you.